U20 International Women's Rugby live from Ottawa. It's a Rogers Sports exclusive from Twin Elm Rugby Park. It's an international friendly between Team Canada and Wales. This is the last leg, the culmination of the July tour. Now both Wales and Canada coming off recent defeats to Team USA, so both hoping for bounce-back efforts here this evening. Fans, they can expect a spirited, highly intense, highly competitive effort from two proud programs. All right, coming up next, your national anthems for Canada and Wales and your player introductions.
Rugby Canada would like to begin by acknowledging the land which we gather on here today. The traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. The Algonquin peoples have lived on this land since time immemorial. We are grateful to have the opportunity to be present in this territory. Now please stand and remove your hats for both teams' national anthems.
Throwing it up to the broadcast booth, calling today's action, Dan and Lee Ellen. Gentlemen.
Well, Dan, is a gentleman in some circles. Lee Ellen is far from a gentleman. She's certainly making the broadcast booth a lot better up here, not only because she's a lovely lady, but because of her knowledge of this game. This is going to be an absolutely wonderful finish to this series, Lee Ellen.
It already feels like a cracker. I mean, there's tremendous energy here in the stadium. Twin Elm Rugby Park out in Richmond, Ontario, just southwest of Ottawa, just a stone's throw really. But a crowd that's not massive, but at least there are a couple of hundred people here tonight. A couple of hundred people more than were here last week to watch Wales versus USA under 20. We're just about get ready for kickoff, I see.
Indeed, and it's pitch perfect because this is a perfect pitch. It's nice and soft. We've had 2 tornadoes roll through this area within 3 hours this afternoon. A ton of rain, but this field has been able to withstand all of it. And we are underway. The referee for this one, Shanda Asmus. The assistant referees, Emma Gallagher and Andrew Brammer, and the technical zone manager, Madison Cuna, as Canada hemmed deep inside their own territory, inside their own 22. For their first possession, the ruck moves and a penalty called, and it will be Canada's free kick. No doubt they'll send this into touch on the full, or at least attempt to, and get the line out. And these set pieces are going to be so important here this evening.
They're always important. You did see the Welsh winger there trying to give it a good run to try to get the ball before it crossed the touchline and went into touch. But back to Canada's hooker here, Taylor McKnight, student at University of Guelph.
And the Welsh win that line out. They try to move the ball up the middle. That's Gwennon Hopkins. All the way out inside the Canadian 22. Now Welsh. The Welsh moving the ball to the outside. Little kick inside for Nell Metcalf, and she is going to score and open this game with a try just like she did against the U.S. a week ago.
Almost identical timing there. A week ago, that was Nell with the 2-step there, left and a right. It looked like our defense was certainly on the back foot there. She just opened the gate and took that opportunity.
And what a very astute of Nell Metcalf, getting the ball closer to the posts, moving the ball around in the end zone, and getting some congratulation from her mates.
Now this time last week against the USA, it was Nell that was actually taking the first few conversions, but it looks like it's not Nell today. It looks like it is their fly half or outside half, Karis
Hughes. And that was the difference against the Americans a week ago. They didn't convert any of their tries. They scored more tries than the U.S., but lost 28-27 in a thriller right here at Twin Elm. Here's Hughes, and the extra point is good. The conversion is good, so it's 7-0 for Wales here in the early going, and this is not part of Canada's game plan.
They've had a number of turnovers on the roster since they played the USA on Saturday at TD Place in downtown Ottawa. A number of injuries, actually.
Victoria Stanley, Carissa Norston, both out. Norston scored 2 tries in a 40-24 loss against the Americans.
Carissa is an outstanding player. She was Rookie of the Year in Can West. She plays at UVic. She's going into her second year at UVic. That's Faith Tilley from UVic as well. Locke, who's just stolen the ball.
And Canada controls just outside the Welsh 22.
We'll get back and talk about Carissa later.
Taylor McKnight tries to make a move inside. And offside called against Wales. And Canada lacking a little bit in the kicking game. Otherwise, it might be a good opportunity to attempt a penalty. They go for the line out inside the 22, and that ball goes into touch on the full. And Canada in a good position to answer very, very quickly. And that's exactly what they need to do. Taylor McKnight. Set to put the ball in. Interesting strategy. Canada controls. And now the Maul moving forward. Here's McKnight. Tries to make a move inside. Moves it near the 5-meter line. Canada moving the ball to the outside. That ball's knocked on, and there's a gap. And a good open field tackle there as that ball goes in and out of the hands of Kate Davies.
She did well there to ensure that the ball wasn't knocked on, and she did manage to get it behind her so that one of her teammates could pick it up off of the ground.
Ball moves right into the hands of Lucy Romeo in the fullback position. Ball back out. Camille Arvin-Barreau.
She put it straight into the hands of Delaney Woods. Delaney Woods is a young student out at UBC. This is her first time starting for Canada. She came off of the bench in Saturday's game against the USA.
Nice move and a good cut. Open field. One player to beat. And a great run there by Sarah Grant, and the captain showing her true colors. McKnight to the number 8, Maya Swimmer. Swimmer moves it forward. Canada. Nice. Delaney Woods trying to offload. That one, McKnight had that one go around her head, but she was able to make the catch.
It's like swirling it around her head like a neck pillow or something on an aircraft.
Maxie Grant moving it forward. Canada trying to go wide. Here's an opportunity, and that ball, that is definitely a knock on. Just a half a second off in their timing. And now it would appear that Kate Davies is going to get some attention from one of the medics on the pitch. No, she looks okay.
Looked for a second there that a member of the Canadian bench was going to run the tee on so that they could go for 3 points with a penalty kick, but they've opted for a scrum instead. And the starting scrummy here for Canada is Reese Morgan, and she has just finished her second year. She's studying at Harvard University and plays there as well.
What a thrill it must be, Lee Ellen, for her to sort of play for Harvard and then come home and wear the maple leaf.
You know, I think it's a thrill for everybody here because of that event that went on for the past 3 years. None of them have worn the maple leaf before. And a number of the players on the Canadian squad, they're actually born in 2004, which means they're still eligible.
There's a good run and a great tackle.
For U20 next year. That's Lucia Romeo with UVic. She had an outstanding performance at the National University Championships back in November.
Canada continues to press, pushing forward. It's Jessie Nags. McKnight makes a move, gets close to the 5-meter line. Canada continuing, and there's it. Grubber, Canada forced all the way back to midfield.
Eden Kilgore with the speed to get back and pick that ball up and turn it around.
And a great run to the outside. Eden Kilgore keeping Canada in it. There's a loose ball, and there's another loose ball, and Wales is after it. It's Ella Pierce.
It's Reese Morgan with the pickup there.
And Canada going wide. It's the number 8, Maya Swimmer, trying to get to the Canadian 10-meter line. All the way to the outside. Good speed on the outside. It's Tia Jordo. She had a try against the Americans as well in that loss at TD Place on the 8th of July.
I wonder what try is in Swedish. Tia Jordo speaks Swedish. As well as both of Canada's official languages. Wales is certainly making Canada work for this try.
Well, the Canadians gave it everything that they had on that last sequence. And now they're starting fresh just beyond midfield on the Wales side of midfield.
There's a
Canada.
steal.
Loose ball, Canadians forced back once again. Now they're going to try and work it wide. Quick hit up the middle there for Delaney Woods. And there's the grubber, and Canada's going after it. Good speed. It's Eden Kilgore, and she gets it. And stepped out of bounds.
Eden has spent, she's from the Greater Toronto area, but she has spent the past couple of years on the west coast of Canada in what was called the Maple Leafs Academy, sort of a development squad for the national women's team. I remember going on tour with her to Florida once, and she put on a spectacular display of some gymnastics, tumbling, flips and handsprings.
Wales controlling, off the line out, now moving forward. A real indication of the strength of the Wales front.
Absolutely, they must have pushed Canada back about 15 meters there. Just made it look so easy.
Come on, Canada! Move the ball! Right into the hands of Eden Kilgore. And now Canada trying to move it up once again. Off the head of the number 8, Maya Swimmer, into the Welsh hands, and now the Welsh continuing to move forward, keeping Canada at bay. They lead 7-0 in case you've just joined us on a try by Nell Metcalf. 2 tries versus the U.S. And now, penalty against Canada. That's Molly Reardon. They're opting for the scrum right in the middle of this absolutely perfect pitch. Nice and soft. Great grab with the cleats and the softer landing when you go to ground.
A great field to play on. The conditions we had today, great for rugby, not so much for your golf ball.
Isn't that the truth? Don't get a lot of roll. Although the Welsh have been very successful in using the grubber so far in this one. Molly Reardon.
His head rep, Shander, just having a word with the front row of Canada there for a moment.
Ball is in. And Canada with a big push, but they get it out. Nell Metcalf once again offloads. Close to the 5-meter line. Another quick, and Molly Wakely turned away immediately.
The Canadian women there in black, the deep sigh of relief there. Winning the scrum here, or winning the put in anyway. Just past the 10 meters out from the try line.
Scrum is engaged. Ball is in. Quick out. Ball knocked on. Wales threatening to score once again. Chris Hughes converting the touchdown by Nell Stewart, or Nell Metcalf rather. And it's a low scrum right at the 5-meter line. Referee not particularly pleased with the way things lined up in that scrum, so they'll re-engage, and Wales prepared to go wide immediately.
And you can see which way they want to go wide. Not letting the Canadians have to guess here.
Ball is in. Scrum is wheeling, and now here come Wales, and the ball knocked on, and Canadians get a break.
Good energy from both teams. Moving the ball. Lots of running.
And that's one of the keys that Dean Merton was talking about before this one. Canada has to be able to move the ball against this Welsh defense.
Dean Merton being the head coach for the Canadian women under 20. Dean Merton himself was a coach of the year for Can West. Brings a wealth of experience as both a player and a coach to Rugby Canada.
Canadians driving it forward. That's Delaney Woods. Goes to ground. Canadians trying to set it up once again. That ball bounces right into the hands of Saren Singleton. Couple of moves inside the 22, still on her feet. Finally brought down by Maxie Grant.
She managed to fend off about 3 Canadian players there. You'll remember Saren Singleton from last week and the tremendous showing of strength, stepping, and speed that she had against the Americans.
Once she got into open field, it was really difficult to bring her down.
And she never gave up.
Another Canadian scrum deep inside their own territory.
Scrum half Bruce Morgan with the put in there.
This time, they get it out, and it'll be a Welsh line out here.
Bit of a short kick
Ball
there.
didn't get outside the 22.
Yeah.
Molly Wakely getting set to distribute. Welsh control. The number 8, Gwennon Hopkins, goes to ground. And now Wales. Oh, big tackle there on Jenna De Vera, the captain. And that's the first time we've called her name in this one.
Yes, I remember she came off quite early in the game last week. She was captain as well against the USA, but she came off with an ankle injury, so I'm glad to see she's back out there again today.
Canadians controlling, and bad handling once again, and knock on called, and it'll be a Welsh scrum. And injured Canadian player.
It looks like number 8 being treated by one of the athletic therapists there, Jess Algie.
And this series that the Canadians, the Welsh, and the Americans were involved in, nothing preparatory. They're not working toward anything other than building the program again after COVID.
Now, the Women's World Cup of Rugby was 2021, but because of pandemic, it was actually held just last fall in 2022. So the next one is 2025. So these young women are working on themselves in the hopes that perhaps they would make the national squad to attend that World Cup or the one afterwards. There hasn't been a series like this that involves the Canadian under-20 women since about the mid-2010s. There was something called the Tri-Nations. It was last ran in 2018, and it was Canada, USA, and England. And I believe there were a couple of guest countries that would rotate in and out of the years, including South Africa, France, and of course Wales.
Canada really anxious to get a victory here, much like the Welsh, after a loss to the U.S. 40-24 on the 8th of July. And also on the 8th of July, the women's national team. And there is Maya Swimmer staying in the match.
Maya is a student at Brock University. Brock University is down around Lake Ontario, southwest of Toronto.
St. Catharines, I believe.
St. Catharines, there you go. Until this week, her career highlight was actually getting into the OPSA finals. That would be the finals for high school students in Ontario.
And depending on the population of your school, if it's 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, and it's all based on population, the caliber goes up as well. Scrum half, Molly Reardon taken down, and it'll be a Canadian scrum. Nell Metcalf opening the scoring with a wonderful try in the early going of this first half, converted by Karis Hughes.
So early in this first half, that it was 20 minutes ago. We've been back and forth, up and down for the last 20 minutes.
Ball is in, scrum wheeling, and the Canadians come up with the ball. Good open field tackle there as Madison Donnelly tried to move forward. And again, the Welsh defense proving to be a little bit of a problem for the Canadians right now as Camille Arvin-Barreau moves forward. Maya Swimmer. Loose pass picked up by Lucy Isaac. And
Quick there.
the Welsh moving it quickly. Little cut inside. Can she get the ball down? And she does. I believe it's Ellie Tromans gives the Welsh a 12-0 lead with the conversion pending. So that's 2 tries now, and the Welsh with a 12-0 lead. Leland Carroll, what has Canada got to do other than maybe utilize their speed? They're trying to, I guess, institute a ball control offense, but they're not having a lot of success right now.
Looks to me that sometimes a little bit of nerves there on some of the passes. Perhaps trying to get a little bit too fancy. And some blind passes as well, instead of putting it directly into the hands of your teammate.
You're hoping somebody's going to be in the area.
or there's always a skip pass.
Karis Hughes. Ball is up and it's wide right. So it will go unconverted, which was part of the difficulty that Wales experienced a week ago against the Americans. They were unable to convert any of the tries.
Just one was, right? Because they lost with 27 points. So they had 5 tries and 1 conversion. But I also remember a lot of them were on a much tougher angle than the last 2 attempts were.
Far. The crowd appealing to the Canadians. Jenna De Vera goes to ground. Sarah Grant at the bottom of the ruck, and now the Welsh will move this into touch for the line out. Just on the Canadian side of midfield.
It's Molly Wakely from Wales with the throw in here.
And the Canadian steal.
Second steal they've had off of a Welsh lineout. Unfortunately, Canada knocked it on, so it's back in the possession of Wales.
Head coach Dean Merton of the Canadians likes the way they ruck, likes the way they scrum. They're very, very capable in that front row. And he was very, very pleased with the way that they reacted to the strength of the American front row, which, as we saw last week against Wales, very, very capable. Welsh get it out. They're going to try and move it wide. There's some room to the outside. Here they come once again. Good run there by Kate Davies. Here they come once again. They get the ball to the outside. There's the offload, and it missed. Saren Singleton was the intended target, but the ball was either ahead of her, and she just unable to get her hands on it.
Good effort and execution by Eden Kilgore there in pushing Saren back. So far, advantage to Canada.
And injured Welsh player down. There's a quick hit. Canada trying to work the seams, but the defenders are spread apart so the gaps are very, very slim. Canada with it once again. There's a quick offload and a great grab there from Camille Arvin-Berreau. Now the front row getting involved.
I believe it was Kaya
That's Tatiana Jackson. Canada being forced back. Wales relentless in their pursuit. There's some room to the outside. Tia Jordo finally brought down near midfield. Some room to the outside, the Canadians.
It was Lucy Romeo handing that off to Faith Tilley.
Showing some pluck. Wales on the loose ball. Ruck forms.
What's the kick? Fire, work. What's
They
the
move
kick?
it back. Karis Hughes moves it back. The Canadians have it once again with some time. Canadians moving it to the outside.
She's going to go for it.
And a great run, turns the corner. Eden Kilgore finally goes goes to ground, Karis Hughes. There to stop her. Back inside. Canadians control. Moving to the left side. And there's a perfect example of trying to move the ball upfield before it's in your hands.
Yeah, but fun fact about our front row there. So the woman who unfortunately just dropped the ball on, Kaya Adamshirsky, is she's got 7 younger siblings. And our hooker there, Taylor McKnight, she lives on a farm in Stouffville, Ontario. And then the tight head, number 3, Tatiana Jackson, she's half Colombian and half Vincentian, meaning a parent from St. Vincent and Grenadines. So she speaks English, French, and Spanish. And she's with a number of her teammates here from Queen's University. Queen's University, of course, in Kingston, Ontario, about 180 kilometers southwest of Ottawa.
A casual 2-hour drive.
I was speaking to some of the Welsh parents who were shocked when they went to Niagara Falls and discovered how little they had driven across Canada.
It takes 3 days to get out of Ontario. This one a little bit beyond half an hour old. The Welsh with a 12-0 lead on tries from Nell Metcalf and Ellie Tromans. And a bad entry to that scrum. And Karis Hughes right there to offer some solace and condolence to Molly Reardon for that input. Swimmer gets into the backfield as the Welsh try to move the ball forward. Canadians there with the answer defensively. Here's Tatiana Jackson. Canadians have possession, little kick, and now the race for it. Can they get there before it goes into touch? They cannot. But I like the idea.
They're moving the ball. They're moving the ball in the right direction. Canada is.
So it's a Welsh line out. Canada has already stolen 2. Not going to steal this one. Maul forms. And then breaks up. Ball comes loose. Wales still has it as they continue to move forward. Now the Canadians trying to work it wide. Maya Swimmer tried that quick hit. And now here come the Canadians once
Lucy
again.
Romeo.
There she is. Lucy Romeo is in the end zone for the try. And the Canadians are on the board.
Did she take dance lessons or what? What kind of pirouette was that? Got her out of the arms of the opposition for sure.
Importantly, here's another look. There's Lucy Romeo getting into the end zone for the try, and that ball is almost, it's just to the right of the posts here, as we'll see Delaney Woods try to get this conversion and get Canada back within a try, an unconverted try. Delaney Woods, and it's wide right. So it's 12-5. Canada on the board, giving the fans here at Twin Elm Rugby Park something to cheer about here in the latter stages of this opening half.
Everybody was on their feet. They're delighted to see the crowd here and to see their family, friends, and supporters cheering for Canada. The young women wearing the black jerseys today. For our viewers, they can see that the ball carriers outside of the touch lines are the minis from Ottawa Irish.
And those minis will be performing at halftime here as Canadian gets some attention. Coming on now, Madison McCara in the stead of Lucy Romeo, who just scored the try and seems to be favoring left leg. Oh, the Canadians forgot to call that one. And Wales trying to work it forward. They do. They get to the Canadian 22. Canada. Maya Swimmer turning back the Welsh. Taylor McKnight had an opportunity. Ball back in the hands of Canada. It's Madison McCara. Offloading to the outside. Canada trying to eat up as much of the clock here remaining in this opening half. They play 40-minute halves here, but they want ball possession, and that is paramount to any success according to their game plan. That ball knocked out of the hands by Ellie Tromans, and it will be a knock-on against Canada. And it would appear that Nell Metcalf will try to get the ball into touch inside the 22, and it goes out on the full, and another Welsh line out deep in Canadian territory.
I thought for a second there the athletic therapist Blake Berry was going to catch the ball. Blake there in the red shirt and the ball cap. He is an expert on minor hockey in Ontario and obsessed with
Great
small
run.
town hockey. Look at that.
Inside, and the try awarded. It's going to the tight head prop, Katie Carr. And Wales leads it 17-5. Here's another look. Great ball control there by the Welsh as they get in for the score.
And Katie Carr's sister, Rosie, is on the bench, I'm sure chomping at the bit to get on and have an impact on this game as well, just as she did last week versus USA.
Karis Hughes lining up her conversion attempt. One for two in that department so far in this match. The attempt, the ball is up And the kick is good. 19-5, Wales leads this one.
Just over a minute remaining in the first half. Canada looking to close the gap, that's for sure.
Dan Mooney, Lee Ellen Carroll, Brett Bonesteel, and our entire Rogers TV crew. So pleased to have you along for the ride here at Twin Elm Rugby Park in Richmond. Canada kicks off. Welsh with some loose ball. Ball to the outside. Ruck forms. Ball comes loose. And a big hit by Tatiana Jackson. Great open field tackle, and the Canadians force back. Madison McCara first back for Canada. McCara to the outside. Big, great speed there from Sarah, or make that Tia Jordo. Here come the Canadians once again, trying to get at least one more score before the end of the half. McKnight and the grubber. Canadians going after it, and Wales lets it roll into touch. Karis Hughes there to pick it up. It'll be a line out for Wales. Clouds moving in. 2 tornadoes touched down in this area within about 3 hours this afternoon. And it got sunny after that. The weather cooperating for this one. Welsh moving it a la Pers. Ruck forming. Big push by the Canadians. Ball comes loose into the hands of Karis Hughes. Hughes taken to ground. Ball goes out, and the Canadians want to work quickly.
Quick, and that's Taylor McKnight.
The hooker takes it inside the 22. Quick hit.
Taylor's got great fight in her. She was Rookie of the Year at U12.
Maya Swimmer gets to the 5-meter line. Canada threatening to score. Nice move inside by Delaney Woods, trying to fool the Welsh defenders. There's McCara taking the ground.
Canadian women are moving into supportive roles there on the left.
Canadians not really getting much of an opportunity to move the ball. As soon as they get it, there's a Welsh defender on them.
And the Welsh defense is on it like a kid on a Halloween candy bag.
So they'll move it back. We're playing the advantage. And Taylor McKnight has it at the spot about 15 meters out. Chandra Asmus explaining something to the Wales side.
For all of the international matches that are happening, New Zealand, Australia, USA, Canada, senior women, as well as the U20 series and Rugby Canada's U18 East versus East series, they all feature a head ref who is female. Chandra, of course, is a lead ref in the BC Premier League for both men and women.
Only fitting she should be working this series. Canada opts for the scrum.
I've watched her out west, and she's got a good sense of humor on the pitch as well. Likes to have a little bit of fun.
Scrum starts to wheel a little. They move it forward. Canada with some good pressure. And here they go. Maya Swimmer moves it toward the goal line, inside the 5-meter line. Canadians looking to press, and a penalty against the Welsh.
That's a yellow card.
That's 10 minutes in the sin bin.
It's going to be a different start for the second half, that's for sure, with Wales having to play one player down.
And it's number 7, flanker Lucy Isaac, going off. So Wales, a player down for 10 minutes. And a cool breeze wafting through.
I'm just wondering who they slid into the scrum there. If flanker went off, they would have to move one of the backs into the scrum.
Scrum's wheeling. Here come the Canadians trying to get in. Taken down. That door was shut. Another door shut by the Welsh. Canadians trying to power the ball forward. Tough to do against this defensive front. Tatiana Jackson tries to drive it forward. Has it her pocket picked, and Wales dodges a bit of a bullet there, only for the moment. Faith Tilley, flanker, had an opportunity to move it, but Canada opting for the scrum here in the latter stages of this opening half.
We're 6 minutes into extra time already in this half.
Scrum is engaged. Ball is in. Canadians trying to work it. Maya Swimmer working toward the goal line. And a triumvirate of Welsh defenders there to greet her.
There's some movement amongst the backs there. Canada's going to have to move it out.
Reserve prop Soleil Brooks to the goal line. Canadians drive it forward. Faith Tilley held up. Ball's loose, and Wales comes up with it.
Terrific defense by Wales.
And they get the ball. Makara tried to get her body in front of it, and now Makara left to her own devices. Ball comes loose. Canada trying to get it to the outside. There's an opportunity. And in and out of the hands of Tia Jordo. And the Welsh push the Canadians back once again.
Run! Run! Run!
Canada coming so close. There's the number 8, Maya Swimmer once again. Shaken up a little earlier, and now here's a breakthrough. Can they get the ball to the outside? No, a great effort there for Madison Donnelly.
I wish I had a clicker for the number of phases.
McKnight offloads. Swimmer has it now. Lifted and put to the turf by Molly Wakely.
That was a very good tackle by Molly.
Canadians trying to work it to the outside. Cara to the 22, wrapped up. Offloads there for Eden Kilgore. Canadians working. Ball to the middle of the pitch. Maxie Grant picked up a few meters there. Tatiana Jackson moves it closer directly in front of the posts. Here come the Canadians once again. There's a quick offload and a great tackle there on Delaney Woods.
Yeah, Sarah Grant was quick, the captain, quick to get the ball into the hands of Delaney. Canada's looking for any option. Whistle has been blown. Injury in the middle of play there on the field.
And the medics are right on the spot.
Ref Chandra is not going to call half yet, intermission. Or she is, because Canada's been so close to getting a try.
Here's a look at the injury.
And that's halftime.
Oh, look.
Well, that's the half.
And
And Wales dominant here at Twin Elm in this opening half, leading at 19-5 against a Canadian side that is spirited but dominated in the front row. Wales leads 19-5 at halftime in this World International Women's U20 friendly between the two nations. Don't go anywhere, folks. Our halftime coming up with Brett Bonestale.
All right, a pleasure to be joined by Rugby Canada CEO Nathan Bombrys. Nathan, 19-5 Wales leading at the half. Just your overall thoughts on the first half, and behind you in the crowd is a healthy contingent of Team Canada U18 East players, bringing a lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of advice from the under-18s, or the players on the field are getting a lot of advice from. I think they're very knowledgeable and doing a good job of being very encouraging to what's happening going on the field. But look, tightly contested first half. I think I was just saying, I think Canada could have had a score. We could have had a score there at the end of the half. Got the yellow card, had a lot of pressure, but Wales stuck in and got a turnover and were able to clear the line. But yeah, some good rugby, and I expect some more in the second half.
Now, this U20 July tour for the U20 women is coinciding alongside the Pacific tour involving the Canadian national team, Australia, New Zealand, and USA. Some games happening over at TD Place. How special is it for these athletes to be able to play such high-level competition while also hanging around the national program and seeing them take on some of the best teams in the world?
Yeah, our age grade programs took a little break because of the pandemic, so it's great to get them started back up again this year, and it's been really special. We've really concentrated on asking the teams to concentrate here in Ottawa, so they could be in town, be in the same environment as the Pacific 4 series, and rub shoulders with some of the senior women and see the national team. And occasionally, they've been able to watch training and been able to engage with some of the national team coaches, and it gives a real inspiration to the young players to see what it takes and to see what they could become, and I think it's been a real positive experience for them.
Now, back on July 8th, I want to talk a little bit about the state of rugby in Canada. Sure. Back on July the 8th, the national team put up a very respectable effort against the Black Ferns of New Zealand, but it was against in front of a record-setting crowd of north of 10,000 people taking in the action. How good of a sign is that for rugby in Canada ahead of the World Cup in England in 2025 and just overall?
Well, it was an opportunity that got hatched up during the World Cup in New Zealand last autumn, and we saw that the story that was building with our team and the following that our team got on television here back home, and the fact that they nearly got to the final with almost beat England in the semifinal and got to the final. So we wanted to have a swing at putting this team up in a big stadium, in a CFL stadium, and it happened to work out here in Ottawa, and to be able to put the game in TD Place, and just a fantastic effort by the whole city, by the rugby community to get out and support the team. And 10,000 probably beat our expectations. It was quite a support by some way, but not just the support, it was the atmosphere. It was a lot of fun. It was a real loud, boisterous, but really fun atmosphere to be in, a real rugby atmosphere, and I know the players were really appreciative of the support they had too. So yeah, more of that, please. That's where we're going to try to get to, is have more days like that for our teams.
Thank you very much for joining us, Nathan, and we're going to throw it back to Dan and Lee Ellen in the booth.
Thanks so much, Brett. A great first half, and guess who got things going again, Lee Ellen? Nell Metcalf.
Right off the bat, just like the game against the USA last week. It was about 1:30 before she got her ball over the team ball over the try line and successfully converted by a teammate. So it was right off the bat, great energy. Canada didn't give up. They came back in the fight, and it was maintained for a 40-minute half, went well beyond 50 minutes.
Indeed. Let's take a look at some of the highlights in that first half of play, starting with the Nell Metcalf try that got Wales on the board in the first minute and a half. Great speed.
Now she's moved back into the fullback position this week. Last week she was one of the wingers. Clearly a leader on the team.
And the Canadians' game plan was to use ball control as much as they possibly could. In the second half, they may have to open things up a little to get back into this one quickly.
I think getting that Wales was given that yellow card near the end of the first half, Canada must have been thinking that they were going to be starting this game, the second half, with an advantage. However, the play went so long, I think the yellow card may have expired already. We may have had an extra 10 minutes in the first half. But of course, the first Canadian try there was scored by Lucy Romeo. She's based at University of Victoria. She was a tremendous standout at the University All-Star, the University Championships back in November. And unfortunately, she went off not long after her try. So we're going to see a different kind of team in the second half, coming out very hungry, looking for another try, wanting to close that gap, get a win.
Indeed, Wales and Canada looking for their first victory in this series of friendlies. The U.S. defeated Wales 28-27 a week ago right here at Twin Elm, and then the Americans defeated the Canadians as well. So both teams looking for a victory, but after the first half, it's Wales in front by a score of 19-5. Don't go anywhere, folks. More from Twin Elm Rugby Park coming up the second half.
Touching hands, reaching out.
Second half just about set to get underway. Dan Mooney Lee, Ellen Carroll, Brett Bonesteel, and our entire Rogers TV crew so pleased that you are joining us here on a beautiful evening just to the south of the nation's capital in Canada, Richmond, Ontario.
I'm sorry that our audience just missed you singing Neil Diamond's song, Sweet Caroline. And here's Canada with the kick, with the restart. That's Taylor McKnight.
Gotta go 10 meters.
Has not gone 10. Just going to do a quick sweep of the backs of jerseys, check out the numbers to see if there has been any substitutions over the half.
Number 21, Sean Jones, is in for Wales. And you got an injury to the Welsh side.
And the sun has just burst out from behind those clouds that brought us some tornado weather earlier today.
The wind has been swirling and it seems to have died down just a little bit here to begin this second half.
Canada's going to be playing with the sun in their eyes for the second half.
It might be Katie Carr getting some attention from the medics.
A freakishly busy day in Ottawa.
Indeed, Katie Carr. And she seems to be favoring her left arm. Here's a look at what may have happened. There, she goes to ground, takes a knee, and no,
Is it her lower
looks
back?
like her back.
Lower back.
And it's somewhat surprising that you don't see that injury more often, especially in something like this with the running and the vigorous physical activity in this sport that these girls are exposed to. And Katie Carr seems to be staying out there.
Staying up, and she's got to now scrum down. Like, you can imagine the pressure, the weight that has to go through her spine as a tight head prop as she scrummages here.
Scored a try in that opening half, the third Welsh try. Ball is in, scrum, wheeling a little. Canadians putting pressure. They get it, the ball out to the outside. Sarah Grant taking the ground. Back come the Canadians once again, and they offload to Makara on the far side. Gets it beyond the Welsh 10-meter line. They come back near side. Quick hit to the number 8, Maya Swemmer. Wales can't advance. And a nice, great open
Well
field
tackled.
tackle on Karis Hughes. Ball to the outside once again. Nell Metcalf offloads for Kate Davies. Davies runs into Makara. Madison Makara standing tall defensively for Canada.
She has been involved in the play since the moment she was subbed on. This fullback having a great show. She's a member of the Abbotsford Rugby Football Club and has a background in gymnastics.
And the ball stays in bounds.
That was not intended.
Karis Hughes, and there's a loose pass. Metcalf gets the ball out of harm's way, and it's picked up there by Reese Morgan. Offloads for Makara. And it will be Wales' possession. Aaron Jones came up favoring something. That ball kicked into touch on the full, and it will be a Welsh line out inside the Canadian 22. Canada down 19-5. And just remember, this Wales side was down 28-5 against the Americans. Just a couple of minutes into the second half, they came back and closed the gap to 1, scored a try on the final play, got a chance to convert and couldn't get it.
That's another steal by the Canadians from a Welsh lineup.
That's the third.
Yes, the last game between Wales and USA was a game of 3 games. It was bookended. Wales, then USA, and then Wales.
That ball knocked on. And it's in the hands of Sean Jones, wearing number 21 for Wales.
The Twin Elm Rugby Park that we are here is actually, we're looking at the main pitch. There are 4 pitches behind us. Long tradition. Next year celebrates its 50th birthday. Being incorporated, it's been a long time since shovels went in the field. But actually 50 years ago this summer, a team from Wales came to visit for the first time. establishing a strong relationship between many clubs in Wales and clubs in Ottawa.
Ball is out. Jones into the end zone, and the try is awarded.
That was well
Sean
played.
Jones makes it 24-5. And this will be a difficult conversion as the ball is right in the corner.
A smart play by Wales. But going back, it was a team from Llanelli in Wales. They came to celebrate their own centennial. And they played the Ottawa All-Stars at Mooney's Bay, which is, of course, now known as Terry Fox Stadium. But because of that game 50 years ago, a young man named Gord Founds went to Wales and ended up playing for Llanelli for a couple of seasons. That's one of the wonderful things about this sport, is all of the exchanges and all of the travel that goes around the world. You want to play in another club, in another country? Why not?
And the camaraderie that exists within rugby, if you go anywhere in the world and you're a rugby player, you're immediately welcome.
Somebody's going to buy a pint of beer for you for sure, and then ask you to switch the jerseys.
So, Karis Hughes,
This will be her fourth attempt at conversion, I believe.
2 for 3 so far. This will be a difficult one only because of the angle and the distance. There's a kick, turning towards the middle and short. So it goes unconverted. 2 for 4 on the evening is Karis Hughes converting tries. Out there now for Canada, number 22, Jerry Atkins.
Jerry's moving into the fly half position as Delaney Woods comes off. Jerry plays alongside Taylor Knight at U Guelph.
And Jerry Atkins converted one of the tries against the U.S. in that 40-24 defeat at the hands of the United States on July the 8th. There's Hughes. Offloads. Wales forced to ground, but they move the ball downfield, and it rolls into touch. It'll be a Canadian lineout.
You mentioned the camaraderie of rugby anywhere around the world, and I can tell you Taylor and Jerry, I got to know last summer. They were working in Guelph for the summer, and of course training with their team, but they came out to help do anything, move equipment, find tackle bags, fetch water, anything. Well, the U20 men from Rugby Canada hosted an international series with Chile, Uruguay, and Zimbabwe in town.
Every international experience adds so much to the careers. And there's a great burst forward from Soleil Brooks.
Actually, that's a starting loose head. That's Kaya Adamshirsky. There's just a bit of a jersey switch there. I expect Soleil Brooks will be coming on sometime this half, and she'll be wearing the number 1 jersey.
Here's Tatiana Jackson. Drops the shoulder, keeps the legs going, and moves forward.
Driving those legs.
Canadians with a loose pass into the hands of Kate Davies. There's Molly Wakely driving forward. All the way out. Alapers. Hughes with the grubber to the outside, looking for Saren Singleton, but the ball bounced in the wrong direction. Canadians dominating that ruck. They get the ball back. The number 8, Maya Swimmer. Moves it out. That's Jerry Atkins at the outside. Great move, great speed there.
And great job at staying inside the touchline.
Eden Kilgore with a great burst. Canada on the Wales side of midfield. And another loose pass picked up there by Caddy Davies.
Eden has inspired her younger brother into rugby as well, and he's a member of Canada's Pride, or the Rugby Development Academy, which is out in Langford, Victoria.
Akpan into the match now in the stead of flanker Faith Tilley. And Kim Thurlow into the match in the stead of Ellie Tromans for Wales. Something not to Chandra Asmus' liking, and Canada will get the scrum. Reese Morgan preparing to set the ball in. Canada controlling, trying to move the ball wide. Get some speed on the outside, and Makara wrapped up immediately. And that's one of the strengths of this Wales side, Lee Ellen, is the fact that as soon as there's a Canadian that gets possession of the ball, there's a defender right on her.
Right on her. I mean, just Madison Makara did a great job at holding on to the ball there and not letting it out of her hands when she was bound by a Wales opponent.
Another loose pass as Camille Arvin-Barreau got into some open field. Offside. And Wales wasting no time, and a quick hit to the outside. Saren Singleton inside the 22, loose pass again into the hands of the Canadians.
A little bit of luck there. I think we gave up a fair amount of ground for not turning and facing when Wales gained possession of the ball.
Canadians get it out of the end zone. Here comes Wales once again.
They're a little thin on this side.
Nell Metcalf taken to ground. Great open field tackle there from Eden Kilgore.
Eden got her into touch. Great. And possession goes back to Canada.
Canada has been dodging bullets and a little after the whistle stuff, and it's all for possession of the ball.
Wouldn't be my first time at a game where I see Taylor McKnight involved in a little altercation.
Into the game now for the Canadians, Marina Skaken, wearing number 20. line out at their own 5-meter line. Canada gets up high right into the hands of Jesse Nags.
Good job on the ball there.
That ball blocked, they get it back, and Canadians kick it into touch on the full, but inside the 22, it'll be a Wales line out. Another bullet dodged.
Well done, Wales, on blocking that. Madison McCarr had to think quickly there. Get the ball out.
Another potential steal for Canada as the Maul pushes closer toward the Canadian goal line. Into the end zone, and it's Molly Wakely with the try, and Wales leads this one 29-5. Great presence by the Welsh as Wakely goes into the end zone. And Karis Hughes will attempt to convert from almost the same spot as the last try that Wales scored.
The assistant referee is having to look straight into the sun there to see if it goes in between the uprights.
Hughes had good direction on her last conversion attempt, just didn't have enough legs to get it there. This one is up and short once again. Really difficult. That's almost a 40-meter kick. 45 meters from the sideline. 29-5. The Welsh in front here at Twin Elm Rugby Park, just south of the nation's capital of Canada, in Richmond, Ontario. On what has turned out to be an absolutely beautiful night for rugby.
It's stunning. I'm sure half the crowd, though, is waiting for this game to wrap up, and then they're going to head down to the Blues Fest, music festival, one of the largest in the world. And tonight, Mumford and Sons are the headliner.
Sarah Grant picks up the loose ball, and then there's another loose pass. Canadians trying to get it to the outside into the hands of Akwaima Akpan. Canadians still with it. They're not going away. Continuing to push forward. Marina Skaken. Here's a break for the Canadians. Reese Morgan forced to go to ground right at the Wales 22.
So many of these young women are so impressive on and off the field. Not only are they handling, a lot of them handling studies.
Akwaima Akpan.
That she just caught the ball. She's got her studies, she's got her rugby, she runs a peer support group and a harm reduction program.
Wow. Skaken still on her feet.
Well driven, gained some valuable meters there.
Makara tries to offload to the outside into the hands of Tia Jordo. Canadians still with it, trying to move forward, but Wales has an answer for everything that the Canadians seem to be putting forward. Tatiana Jackson pushes forward. The Canadians trying to move the ball way outside this time. Couple of moves from Eden Kilgore. Wales comes up with it. Picked up by Alapers. All about field position. Canada forced all the way back. Kilgore. A yard out. Makara for Kilgore.
Risky business.
Big time. Kilgore gets the ball into touch on the full, but it will be a Welsh line out.
It's a little bit like, you take it. No, you take it. You take it. No, you take it.
There you go. This game. Not this game, the game on Saturday. It's a 10 o'clock in the morning game, but it will air on Rogers TV at 7 p.m. along with YouTube and Rogers.com. You can see Canada's future in women's rugby this coming Saturday at 7.
That will be the U18 exhibition match. Red versus white. This will be the top 40 players from Ontario East.
The graphic wasn't accurate. Lee Ellen Carroll always is.
Are you a gambling man? There were a whole bunch of substitutions going on there. So Soleil Brooks, now wearing the #1 jersey, has come in as the loose head prop. She's got the tape over her ears and across the forehead. Athletic therapist Blake Berry just checking out Madison Makara. Looks like a little bit of a shoulder. She just needs to shake it off there.
And Makara has been tremendously active in this one. And Canada, with a couple of tips, wins that line out. Trying to move it to the outside. And then back up the middle. There's a steal. A great pick there from Sean Jones. She's got one try here in the second half and almost broke through for another there with a great anticipatory play.
You can't get a more Welsh name than Jones, and there are 3 of them on this team. The U20 young women from
And
Wales.
here they come once again. That's Jenna De Vera, the captain. They move the ball in, and they have not been able to touch down. So, great defensive stand at the goal line by Canada.
Taylor, come this way.
Actually, this will be in Canada's favor if they can get this ball into touch outside the 22. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. It rolls into touch, and it will be a Wales line out. Canadians have been on their side of midfield for most of the latter stages of that opening half and here in the second as well. Wales has been relentless in their pursuit of points. Ruck forms, Canadians have it, and again, forcing Wales out. A bad bounce forces Karis Hughes all the way back to the Canadian 10-meter line. Hughes taken down, and a great open field tackle there.
Advantage Canada.
That was Makara once again putting her stamp on a tremendous performance for Canada.
I think the one that just sniped the ball there was Jane Armitage. She has just come on as a reserve prop. Jane is studying at Queen's University in Kingston and has a sister in the same sport but plays scrum. And her sister, Natalie, attends University of Guelph.
University rugby has become a force in sport in this country over the last 25 years, has it not?
It's, you know, it's a great way to stay engaged at university when life is not just not all about academics. It's a far cry from what we see south of the border in terms of funding and the number of student athletes.
Madison Thompson moves that up into the arms of Jerry Atkins.
Certainly here in Canada, university rugby is part of the pathway if you aspire to play for the province or to play for your country.
And even at the high school level, it has grown exponentially over the last 25 seasons.
I think a lot of that has to do with economics, that it's much cheaper to run a rugby program than it is a football program, but also the success of the Canadian women's sevens team on the international circuit, specifically picking up bronze at the Rio Olympics. And that seemed to really light a fire under a lot of people, men and women, in terms of wanting to play the sport.
Well, the game is so much faster with sevens on the pitch and the limited time frame that they have to play.
14-minute games with a 2-minute intermission.
Canadians with a little scissor pass for Skaken. Canadians working it to the outside, quick hit, and there's a forward pass, rolls into touch, and unfortunately, Eden Kilgore just late to get to that ball, and it already rolled into touch for a Wales lineout. Dally Hopkins gets the ball. Hopkins taken to ground by Skaken. Marina Skaken certainly making her presence felt as well. Canadians trying to catch Wales napping, but no such luck. They were already back in a defensive formation before Canada could make a move.
One of the advantages Wales had in coming into this series is that they actually had some international game time against Scotland to prepare for this series. USA and Canada, because of the geography, it's so hard to get together to train as a team.
Not to mention expensive.
And of course, in Canada, age grade rugby, U18, U20, U23 at the national level, is paid to play. A new fund has just been started with the goal of raising a couple of million by 2025. It's called Raising the Uprights. If you look it up online, you can make a donation. They held an event in Ottawa just on Sunday and raised over $20,000 over the course of 2 hours.
Great plug.
Just to help reduce the cost of playing rugby, playing for your country, for these young women that you see before you.
The future of Canadian rugby right before your eyes.
And there is Jane Armitage, the pick.
Canada trying to work the ball to the far side. Sarah Grant forced to ground.
And you see a second number 2 jersey has appeared, and that is Jessica Postle. And I've been on these tours when you get your set of jerseys, and if any one of them is ripped or damaged, you've got to do a little bit of a shuffle game.
On for Wales now. Canna Williams coming off for the injured Dally Hopkins.
Talley's been the loose head prop for this game, put in over 70 minutes already.
Wales controlling, and now attempting to go wide. That kick right into the hands of the number 8, Gwennon Hopkins. Goes to the outside, and a great burst of speed by Kate Davies. Brought down a meter out, and Wales gets in for the try, taking advantage of a hole in the Canadian defense. And it's number 26, Kim Thurlow, with the try in the exact same spot. Karis Hughes has...
Was it 26? Well, I thought it might have been Maisie Davies, 23. Just need that little bit better angle on that. And if you shout like that some more, Dan, I might have to run to the production truck and just get your blood pressure cuff. The energy you've got. So excited to watch these tries.
Here's Karis Hughes, 34-5, Wales in front. Hughes kick again, just a tad short, wide right. The most difficult kick that you could possibly have. And the Canadians coming right back. When you start to think of your player of the match, who do you start to think about, Lee Allen?
Do you want one from each team, or are you looking for just one of the match?
For the match. Jessica Postle kicking the ball off. Two number 2s out there. Jessica Postle and Taylor McKnight. That ball kicked into touch. And it will be a Welsh lineup.
My player of the match might have to be the Welsh front row. A lot of tries scored by numbers 1, 2, and 3.
And something that doesn't occur very often. Canadians on the Welsh. Grubber into the hands of Jerry Atkins. Atkins pushing forward. Maul forming.
Great power, Jerry.
There's Postle. Drives forward. Canadians. Taylor McKnight sidesteps one tackle, again gets wrapped up by Gwennon Hopkins. Postle tried to offload, hit a Welsh defender. McKnight.
Canadian scrum half Louise Morgan is off and has been replaced by Maddie Thompson, also known as Tommy to her friends at Queens.
Sasha Reskovich out there for Canada, and it's important in these situations, and head coach Dean Merton of Team Canada really doing the right thing by getting everybody some time. Then they get a national cap at this level.
In fact, one of those people that's just gone on in these last few minutes of the game is Mika Matsukubo. Now, Mika was just called in this week because of the injuries that have taken place last weekend's game between Canada and the USA, and injury that will end this tour, unfortunately, for one of the players with a broken ankle.
Yeah, Victoria Stanley, she did it in training, too.
In training.
There's a steal by Wales. Wales moving the ball to the outside. Good play to keep it alive there from Chelsea Williams, just dropping it back behind her as she was stepping out of bounds.
Head coach Dean Merton is also the coach at UBC, and as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the game, he's CanWest Coach of the Year. Was with the British Army for well over 3 decades, played rugby with the Army, has coached. He's coached age grade Canada men and now women.
Canada trying to move the ball forward. That's Postle.
Postle making an impact here.
Canada gets it back, and Wales already in a defensive posture waiting for the Canadians. That ball into touch on the full, and Canada
Great kick by Lauren May into touch.
moves the ball up in field position. It's so important, even down 39-5.
It's probably the longest kick into touch we've seen this game.
Canadians controlling off the lineout. That ball knocked on right into the hands of Wales. Driving forward. Kana Williams. And it will be a Wales scrum right at midfield. Sean Jones, wearing number 21 in red.
For our international viewers, what you see on the other side of the road, farmers' fields, and that is a field filled with corn. We grow some really delicious corn in Ontario. The season is August.
Not nearly as tall as it will be. Here come Wales. Molly Anderson-Thomas out there for the Welsh. Without a number on her jersey as the Canadians continue to move it forward. That's Lauren May. Buck forms. McKnight with a quick offload there. Nice run by Sarah Grant. Sarah Grant makes a move. Gets right in for the try. And the fans here at Twin Elm are loving it. Sarah Grant, the captain, scores another try for Canada.
Great hustle by the team and all the impact players.
This ball will be right in front of the posts for Lauren May. Chloe Thomas Bradley getting into the match for Wales. And in speaking to members of this Welsh side and the entourage, Lauren May converts the try, and Canada makes it 34-12.
The crowd has started the wave in the stands. Really, really excited in these final minutes of the game to see what Canada is doing. Leaving no stone unturned.
Well, in situations like this, you try to take positives out of a loss. And what are some of those positives that Canada can work with and toward their goal of international success?
Well, I think what they've shown here is a real amount of character in just really putting it all out there and working as a team.
Karis Hughes, nice move, cuts to the outside, has some room, offloads that one into touch, and it will be a Canadian possession here for the line out. Nice move by Hughes, and she's a little shaken up.
Time's off for on-field injury here. We're already past the 80-minute mark. It's great to be out at Twin Elm. The volunteers in this community have done a tremendous job keeping this facility up, getting it ready for all of these international matches. The support of the clubs.
Yes, and a big thank you to Rob Orange and his crew here at Twin Elm Rugby Park, who have just put together a fabulous facility for this limited series.
The Australian women have been out here training.
Oh, and they couldn't say enough good things about what Rob Orange and his gang from the Ottawa Irish Rugby Club have done to make Twin Elm a place to be.
I know that one of Rob's fellow volunteers out here at Twin Elm, Eli McDonnell, has basically lived here for 3 weeks. He might as well have a cot in the parking lot. He has dedicated his summer to this series.
Be a Wales scrum.
That was a big shoulder. Watch the scrummies there getting under each other's skin. Little elbow in the ear.
Quick exit of the ball from that scrum as Wales moves the ball to the outside. That's a forward pass. And the officials right on it. And this one is over. Congratulations, Comrie. You've got an international win in Canada for your women's under-20 team. A 39-12 win over the Canadian under-20 women's, and it has been a fabulous series with these three international sides: Wales, the U.S., and of course the host Canadians. What a wonderful movement for international rugby at the women's level U20.
It's so great to see this kind of meaningful games being played again. It's been 3-4 years for most of these players. whether they're U18 or U20 or U23, since they've seen any valuable international play. And this is just setting the scene, perhaps for the fall. Certainly for next summer, we'll see some kind of organized series similar to this, where we're going to see Canada play some other international teams. Great development for our young women.
The Canadians applauding the fans here at Twin Elm Rugby Park.
It's lovely to see.
The Welsh huddling after their first international win in this series.
One of my other
And
staff are grabbing
fully
the food right
deserving
now.
of
Yeah,
the
you go to the
victory
tent.
in this particular match against the Canadians. Wales came out really fired up, knowing full well that they thought they should have had a win against the U.S. a week ago.
They were so close. They were absolutely, it was the skin of the teeth type of thing. But Wales gets to go home now. They're so close to Scotland, England, Ireland, France, Italy. See what other competitions are on the horizon for Wales. Where these young women will be going back to their homes, working summer jobs, most of them in university in September. But they won't reconvene as a group until next spring.
What does that do to the program when they only get an opportunity to get together once or twice a year?
As I mentioned, it's pay to play at this age. And certainly if there were more tours, lots of people would love to do it over Christmas or over Easter, but it's just coming out of the family budget. So that's why there's this great impetus, this great new initiative called Raising the Uprights, raising $2 million to help young women at U18, U20, and the U23 level so they can engage in more meaningful play, more meaningful games on the international level. I certainly know a few years ago in 2016, 17, 18, 19, the U18, U19, U20 men were on tour an awful lot, but it was all out of the pocket.
All right, let's go down to field level. Brett Bonesteel with head coach Dean Merton.
Thanks, Dan. Here with head coach Dean Merton of the U20 Canadian women's rugby team, dropping a 39-12 decision to Wales. Dean, your overall thoughts on the match here this evening?
Yeah, I'm obviously disappointed. You know, we made a lot of basic errors, some of them unforced as well. And just as game management let us down. And that's the two areas of the game that, you know, I think at this level we've got to improve. I think the challenge is that, you know, this group's come together. They've only been together for 2 weeks now, and they've never experienced this type of environment. But it's no excuses. We've got to do better next time. I'm proud of the way they came back and the way they hung in there against a good Welsh team. So, you know, we've got some thinking to do.
There was a big goal line stand at the end of the first half there, maybe potentially a game-changing play. Was it a lot of good team defense from the Welsh side?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think that was a bit of a turning point, you know, if we could have got 7 points there or even 5 points. And again, it's just down to decision making. A scrum was dominant. You know, we were getting the message on just to keep scrumming, and we knew the penalties would come, and potentially a penalty try might have come at that point as well. But it's decision making, and you know, the Welsh stuck in there and we came away with 0. So we just got to learn and reflect on these little things, and hopefully the players go away and realise that at the international level we have to make better decisions.
A great atmosphere nonetheless, despite the loss. How important was it for these athletes to be able to play some high-level competition, and then also coinciding with the Pacific 4 series and being able to be around kind of the national team?
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal experience for the athletes. You know, the crowd was great today. A lot of people out excited. The Pac-4s. It's been a tremendous effort by Rugby Canada to get all this going. And you know, one thing for us, this is all about learning. I mean, all them the Welsh girls will have all come through their U18 Six Nations Championships, so they've experienced this pressure. And no excuses. We've not been there with COVID. We didn't have an 18s program.